Good evening, race fans. We are here live, United Racers League, Season 9, Round 8, coming to you from Mount Fuji, the Fuji Raceway for GT-1 racing tonight. This is Ken Rodriguez, and I am coming to you live for the United Racers League GT1 League. And we are currently in our qualifying session with about 12 and a half minutes left to go. Qualifying is typically for 15 minutes long. However, we had the intro vid, and once they switched over to qualifying 2, we introed the vid, which takes up about 2.5 minutes, so I apologize for that. But with about 12 minutes left to go, early on board with current P3 right now, Mikko Korkiakoski. Looking at the timing and scoring, Tony Jukic setting the early pace with a 133.337, and Steen Mikkel Olsen in P2, 133.946. Reinhard Berger will move actually down to P5, 135.5. So we have drivers that have just been out on their warm-up laps are now starting to put down some hot laps. I'm going to be bringing all the live action to you here tonight from the Fuji Speedway, United Racers League GT1 Racing. Speaking of the track, it is a 16-turn course. Quite challenging, actually. The elevation changes are not the biggest issue here. However, you have a long Sector 1 up to the third corner of Coca-Cola. Sector 2 is where things get a little bit hairy because of the turns 10, 11, 12, and 13 complex. It's a little bit slow going, and these high-powered GT1 cars with 600 horsepower looking to lay it down. Any one of these drivers can easily spin their tires out, overcook it into a corner. That'll just cost them a whole ton of time. And of course, the 13, 14, 15, and 16 complex. Again, these are slow-going corners. This is where a lot of these drivers will either make up or lose a lot of time around this circuit. So a lot of these guys have their work cut out for them. On board with Ruan Hubert, who is your current pole sitter right now, as he comes across, as he's coming down the front straightaway to cross the start-finish line. And sets a new fast lap of 132.803. So Ruan continuing on his pole quest here tonight. Tony Jukic in P2 driving the Lister Storm. You know, the Lister Storm is always thought to be at a disadvantage because it is a 5-speed transmission car. Not so. These guys, they can pretty much drive anything around these circuits, especially these aliens, these really fast guys whose times seem to be a little bit unreal to us mere mortals. But Tony Jukic currently sitting in P2. He's about 1.1 seconds off the pole pace right now as he is entering Sector 3. We'll stay on board with him to see if there's any improvement in his position or his time. And I apologize for some of the jittering. This version of Fuji circuit is notorious for that, for broadcasts and the camera views. We can actually jump on board to help smooth that picture out just a little bit. Tony will come across the start-finish line. Doesn't look like he's got enough to put down a pole time, but just a little bit above, almost a second above the pole pace right now. Mikko right now running in third. Alex Scott to fourth. Mikhail Klisch in fifth. Florian Kotz driving that big Ford GT, currently sitting in P6. Reinhard Berger driving the Chevy Corvette C6R in P7. Steen Mikkel Olsen in P8. Greg Metcalf in P9. Olivier Duplessis in P10. Fabio Bartolai in P11. Santo Donadel 13th. Dubravko Brzancic in 14th right now. Miguel Santiago Caru running in 15th. Alex Funnel in 16th. Hanze Frost, he's sitting back there. I don't think he's serving a no-qual, but he has not put down a qualifying time right now. But as you can see, Ruan Hubert with a 132.640, Tony Jukic 133.199. So your top 9 separated by just a little over a second. Just goes to show how close these guys can race together, how much they can put their times together, so neatly close together. Looking at the weight and ballast system right now, we see that Tony Jukic, even though he is sitting in P2 carrying around 50 kilograms, Mikko is also carrying 50 kilograms, Florin 40, Fabio 30, Dubravko actually holding 60 kilograms right now, Anze Hrast with 30, and Kim Damhold with 60 kilos. Reinhard Berger now starting a hot lap. Going through the notorious turn 1. And he's going to pull it off. Mikko Korkiakoski running in 4th right now. On and out lap. Alex Scott driving the Maserati MC12 GT-1 car. Gonna bring it across the line and an improvement to P2. Good on you, Alex Scott. Just about 0.3 of a second off the pole pace right now. So Alex Scott with a huge improvement driving that Maserati. We'll bump Tony Jukic down to 3rd. Reinhard Berger is in 4th. Mikko trying to find some speed out of that Corvette C5R right now. Seems to be struggling just a little bit as he comes off that corner with a little bit of a slide. His teammate behind him. Michal Klisch driving the Porsche GT1 car, P6. Florian Kotz, Ford GT1, P7. Steen Mikkel trying to find some speed as he starts his hot lap now. Oh, it looks like we have a car stuck on the track there. Not sure exactly who that is. On board with your leader, with your current pole sitter, Rouen Hubert. Now, Rouen is also driving a Maserati MC12. Seems to have a good hang of that car right now as he is coming up on the first sector split, trying to improve yet again his times. See if he's got what it takes. Oh, just 0.1 of a second off of his own pace. Entering the all-crucial Sector 3 of the Fuji Speedway. Right here, this is where a lot of these guys will either make up their time or lose their time. Move on onto the front straightaway. Trying to pick up speed and lay down a hot lap. Don't think he's going to have enough to best his pole time. Nope. About 0.2 of a second off of his own pace. Alex Scott currently working Sector 2 here at Fuji Speedway. Alex Scott with a bit of a slide. Not going to help his time here as he comes onto the front start-finish straight. Man, just a little bit above 1/10 of a second off the pole pace. So Alex Scott still with the ability to find a little bit of speed if he can get back out there, because we're down to just under 3 minutes of qualifying. Tony Jukic still holding P3. He's on an outlap right now. Mikko in the pits. Reinhard Berger on an outlap. Mikko on an outlap. So we'll stay on board. Florian Kautz with 1.1 seconds off the pole pace right now, driving the Ford GT. Again, I believe that we stated that Florian might be carrying some ballast here. No, actually he is not. The ones who are carrying ballast, Tony Jukic still holding up in P3, which is pretty amazing considering the amount of weight that he's carrying in that car. Miguel Santiago Caru with a huge slide. Probably not what he wanted to do. Olivier back in the pits. Alex Funnel is still out there. He is just starting a hot lap going through turn 1. We will jump on board with Alex. Turns on the lights to indicate to the drivers up ahead that he is on a hot lap. Whoa, a big slide there. Not going to help his cause here in qualifying. About 1.5 minutes left to go. Oh, and that's going to do it for Alex. Florin Manilok coming across the start-finish straight. About 3 seconds off the pace right now. Fabio sitting in the pits, Sando in the pits. Dubravko out there on a hot lap, still trying to get some speed out of that Saleen SR7. Flips the lights, indicating that he's on his hot lap right now. About a half a second off the pole pace right now, Dubravko. This is Sector 2 all important right here. This is where I've seen a lot of guys lose some time here today. About 35 seconds left of qualifying. So this is going to be it. For those that are on their hot laps, this is going to be all they're going to get. They're not going to get any other chances after this. Back at timing and scoring, we are on board with your P16 driver Dubravko right now with a 1:36.592. He is trying to better that time. That's on the bottom end of the rungs here. As the clock winds down to 0. On board, P2, Alex Scott. Alex Scott making a run for that pole right now. He seems to have figured something out in that car because he's looking mighty racy out there. He is on the front start finish straight right now. Looks like he's got a good run. All he needs to do is just get across that line just a couple tenths before pole time. Don't know if he's going to have enough to do it. Oh, just 1/10 of a second off the pole pace. What a heartbreaker. Good run, Alex Scott. So there you have it, folks. A couple of folks that are still left to cross the start-finish lines. But that's going to pretty much do it for your qualifying session. And while the drivers are going into their Quali 2 session right now, they're going to be doing the drivers meeting. We are going to be taking a look here at the current GT driver standings. We pull this off of the website at UnitedRacersLeague.com. Currently, after 7 rounds of racing, Mikko Korkiakoski sitting in first place with 132 points. Reinhard Berger in second place, 127 points. Tony Jukic looking to improve. Now, this is a tight race between 2 and 3. There's only 4 points separating those two, and this race here can prove to be the game changer for Tony Jukic, 123 points. Peter Backus, who is not with us today. Don't know if he'll be joining during qualifying 2, which is an opportunity that drivers that may have fallen off the server or have not had time to make it onto the server have the opportunity to rejoin. So Peter Backus sitting with 111 points. Ruan Hubert, who's also your pole sitter here tonight, going to look to take the win for Angry Panda Racing, 102 points. So pretty close battle going up front for the points lead right now. We'll have to see how this shapes up over the next three race sessions here, because round 8, which is Fuji, and then we have 9 and 10 in the U.S. to round out this season 9 GT-1 series. So there's still plenty of racing to be had, plenty of points to be had, and we'll just have to see how this shapes up going forward. So, qualifying 2 right now, track temperature 12 degrees Celsius with an ambient of 11. Conditions are raining, and the forecast is for rain. We are running the weather mod, so the expected temperatures here today are probably going to be somewhere it's probably going to be cool more than anything, but I did see that we did have about a 40% chance of rain for the race session today. Racing in the rain here at URL in GT1 is the great equalizer, and we've seen this across multiple leagues, across multiple racing platforms, in that rain can be the great equalizer. So not sure what we're going to expect for the race session. However, whatever comes, I'm sure these drivers will find a way to duke it out for the time that they're going to be on track. We're going to take a little break here, folks, and we will be back in about 1 minute. Okay, viewers, so we are back. We are still waiting for the qualifying 2 session to finish running down the clock. About 30 seconds left to go. Qualifying 2 is where these drivers get on TeamSpeak, and there is a drivers meeting. And the drivers meeting usually held by one of the race stewards to go over the track conditions, track expectancies, driver expectancy, and some critical information regarding the circuit that they're running for tonight's race. Here at Fuji again, it's a long circuit. Even though these GT1 cars are very quick, still taking them about a minute and a half to get around this circuit efficiently and effectively. This race here tonight, I believe, is scheduled to go no longer than 42, or is it 46 laps? and we'll get that information for you here in a moment, in just a second. So 40 maximum laps is 43, and the weather forecast is a high chance of rain, 40%, with cool temperatures expected. And we'll just have to see what the warm-up and the warm-up and the race sessions are going to be like here tonight at the Fuji Speedway. Well, we do have two drivers that did not put in a qualifying time. Currently in P17, Anzi Rost, and P18, Kim Damholt. Again, these two drivers did not put in qualifying sessions. I am not clear on why they did not. We'll try and get that information for you before the end of the race broadcast. So we just switched over to warm-up, and we see that the track temperature is 16, dry with an ambient of 12 Celsius. Conditions are a bit rainy right now, and the forecast is calling for rain. Boy, and it looks like we just did lose somebody. I'm sorry I didn't see who that was that fell out of the server, but we did absolutely lose somebody, and unfortunately they will not be able to get back in. So the drivers usually during warm-up take the opportunity to practice their starts and their pit ins. There's about 5 minutes of warm-up that we do every session, every race session, for these drivers to get some warm-up practice in. And as we jump on board with Mikko, we see that the skies around Mount Fuji are very, very dark indeed. There's some light rain out on the track as well. We're going to have to see if these conditions are going to hold up for the race session, and boy, if they do, that absolutely poses a huge, huge threat to your leaders running this race, because like I said, rain the great equalizer. On board with Mikko right now as he comes in to test his pit entry. Very easy to miss this one or lose it. There we go, coming into the pits to practice. Oh, he's... And again, folks, drivers, you gotta pay attention, otherwise you will screw up that pit entry. You don't want to do that. That's a bit of a tricky pit entry. It's a straight in, but you're coming in hot, and then there's the dogleg kink. Olivier Duplessis, perhaps a little bit more cautious of the ones that we've seen coming in here. Alex Funnel taking an opportunity to do some warm-up laps. About 2.5 minutes left to go. Hopefully he'll get his pit entry practice done. Sando Donadel driving the Nissan GT-1. Now we see that Anze Rast has finally made his way out on track right now, driving the red Ferrari F40 GT1 car. Getting some practice in. Now there's something you don't see every day. Under 1.5 minutes left in warm-up before we switch over to the race session. There's some contact between Mikko and one of the 4 GT-1s. Greg Metcalf coming out for another round of warm-up. So driving here at Mount Fuji Speedway is quite a tricky affair, simply because of the type of car these folks are driving. These drivers are driving 600 horsepower, 600 bhp GT1 cars, and you know, that turn 1 hairpin, absolutely treacherous, notorious for spinning some of the drivers out. Then you've got that turn 3 Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, no slouch either. That's one, it's a bit of a blind corner as you come around for turn 3 Coca-Cola, and you've got to nail that entry and then maximize exit speed coming out of Coca-Cola just right, setting you up for 100R. So some of these guys here tonight are going to have their hands full for sure for the race as warm-up. The warm-up clock now winds down. We end the warm-up session with a track temperature of 17 degrees and an ambient of 12. Still conditions calling for rain, so we're going to have to see how it goes here as we switch over to the race. And wow, they get dry conditions to start in. 16 degree track temperature and a 12 degree ambient, so temperatures are cool. And one thing to tell you about these cool temperatures is that these cars favor the cooler temperatures. The drivers can close their radiators a little bit more, which will increase some horsepower and give an advantage to the faster guys running up front. So going to be interesting to see how this race shapes up here, given the possibility of rain being high. As the drivers line themselves up, we have about 1 minute to race start. Skies are a little on the dark side, as you can see. Ruan and his teammate Alex Scott starting 1 and 2. Although the car numbers may be reversed, they are starting reversed. So 35 seconds left to go. I don't know, based on what I've seen in practice and qualifying, I gotta give it to Ruan for the win. But then again, pit strategies do play into the overall results at the end of the race. So we're just going to have to see, folks, as these guys get ready to go. 15 seconds left on the countdown clock. Hopefully everybody's out on the grid. 5 seconds to go. And you hear the revs coming on now, so these guys are getting ready to go as the lights will start to go out. And they're off. Oh, Ruan almost getting caught at the start. Mikko Korkiakoski with a phenomenal start, taking the inside line to turn 1. He's going to take the lead early on. Alex Scott looks like he dropped back to 5th. So Mikko with a great start. Ruan gets relegated to 2nd. Tony Jukic now makes his way up to 3rd. And Alex Scott down to 4th from P2. Greg Metcalf up in 5th. Steen in 6th. Mikko 7th, Florian, Miguel, Olivier, Reinhard Berger down to 11th, Sando Donadell in 12th, Alex Funnel in 13th, Florian Monolac in 14th, Anze Rost in 15th. And Kim Damholt in the back running P16. Oh, and Fabio missing the start ends up with a DQ. So out front with your leader, Mikko Korkiakoski, already early on trying to starting to gap the field. Alex Scott now making his way back up to P2. And a battle ensuing right now between Greg Metcalf and Steen Mikkel Olsen for that P3. Close battle here for P4. Mikko going to get a run on Steen. He's going to look on the inside, and it looks like he's going to get it done. So Mikko Klisch now claiming that 4th spot from Steen Mikkel Olsen. And Steen, not wanting to be left back, is going to try and take a look outside and on the inside, but he's not going to get it done this time around. Just looking at the way these drivers are going, looks like Steen may have some pace on Mikko Klisch. A little further back, P6 Miguel Santiago Caru being hounded right now by the likes of Olivier Duplessis driving the Porsche GT-1 car. As we jump on board with Olivier, he's going to take a look inside, and he's not going to get it done. But oh, so close. Lots of great battles going on out here, folks. Lots of great racing. Tony Jukic must have had an off because he is back down in 10th. He had gotten up as high as P3, I believe. Now being chased around the track by Sando Donadell. Florian Kotz driving the Ford GT-1. Sando going to have a look down the inside, perhaps just a little bit too early. That Ford GT with a lot of legs down this straightaway as they come into the braking zone for turn 1. And Sando with the advantage on the inside line. He's going to hold it. That was a textbook pass, drafting down this very, very long straightaway. Looks like the advantage goes to the Nissan GT1 car in the draft. So, up front, Mikko Korkiakoski running away with it, but there is great racing going on for P2. Alex Scott now in a battle with Greg Metcalf. Alex Scott losing P2 back to Greg again. Not exactly sure what happened there, but we're going to stay with this battle for a little while, folks, as these two battle it out going into Sector 3 right now. And this is the all crucial sector right here because these are the slow corners with some slight elevation changes and a little bit of an off-camber turn here. Got to have that car set up just right. And that Corvette of Greg Metcalf pulling away a little bit from the Maserati of Alex Scott, but this is a long straightaway. Looks like Alex Scott is going to try and find a little something in the way of a draft. Don't think he's close enough to get anything done this time around. And now that has allowed Mikko Klisch, as this battle is going on for P2, Mikko Klisch now closing that gap to the two drivers battling for P2. And no doubt Mikko Klisch is saying to himself, go ahead boys and battle, because you know what, the advantage is going to me, as he now starts pulling up on the rear bumper of Alex Scott. So Alex Scott trying to focus his efforts on getting past Greg Metcalf, and now he's got a mirror full of Mikko Klisch right now behind him. Mikko Klisch having to lock up the brakes a little bit there, not to hit Alex Scott in the rear. Jumping on the bonnet cam for Mikko Klisch to get a better view of the race that's going on up ahead. Whoa! And Mikko Klisch also has his mirrors full. And Steen Mikkel Olsen, who had dropped back just a little bit, is starting to make some inroads now to what appears to be a 4 to 5 way battle for P2. On board with P3, Alex Scott, as he, nearly gets into the back of Greg Metcalf. And still, Mikko is back there in P4, keeping a close eye on the battle up ahead of him. No doubt with his eyes flickering up to the mirror to see Steen Mikkel Olsen in the back. Miguel driving the Ferrari F550 Maranello, currently sitting in P6. Reinhard Berger not too far behind in P7, giving it his best. And Ruan Hubert, who is your pole sitter, certainly the fastest car out on the track, relegated back to P8 after a bit of a lackluster start. So looking at the early lap times right now for Ruan, 1:34.9s. Your race leader with 1:34.3, so about a half a second faster than some of the folks out at the rest of the field. Looking at timing and scoring, currently working lap 5 for Mikko and your front runners. Everyone is still on the lead lap. So a nice battle for P3 between Alex Scott, Mikko Klisch. Mikko still all over the tail of Alex Scott, not letting him get too far away. This is more like a three-way battle for that P2. Steen Mikkel Olsen just sitting back right now, driving the Corvette C5R, a little bit of an older car here in the car pack that we run at the United Racers League, but not a slouch at all in the least bit. So Mikko Korkiakoski has checked out and has left these three to battle it out for P2. But we do have the pit rotations that will come into play a little bit later on in this race. So just looking a little further back right now at some of the other battles going on. Reinhard Berger currently sitting at P7 battling Miguel for P6. Ruan Hubert right on the tail of Mr. Reinhard Berger. Tony Jukic, again, one of the fast guys. Don't know exactly what happened to Tony. His start was a little bit off, but he has fallen a bit off the pace right now and currently running in P9. Olivier Duplessis in P10. Florian Kotz in P11. Sando in 12th. Lauren in 13th. Alex Funnel running in 14th. Kim Damholt back in 15th. Hansi Rast in 16th. And that is your running order right now. So taking a look at Mikko Klisch right now, he was gaining some ground on Alex Scott, but seems to have fallen back just a wee bit right now. He's giving himself a little bit of a gap between Alex Scott and himself. Alex Scott trying everything that he can to get a hold of Greg Metcalf, and he might just get it done here if he can just hang on to the bumper of Greg. But Greg quick out of the corner, so the Chevy Corvette showing great power out of corners, and there he goes. Alex Scott looking to get into the draft of Greg Metcalf. You see Greg going from the right side of the track over to the left, and Alex Scott going to follow suit. Oh, Alex Scott taking it deep into the braking zone, locking up the rear right of that car. Surprised that Mikko Klisch did not take advantage and close that gap tremendously here. Not a huge margin to make up there, so I am quite surprised. So the battle rages on for P2. And look at this, we've got us a three-way battle for P6. Miguel Santiago Carew having to fend off the likes of Ruan Huber, but Reinhard Berger all over the tail. Is going to look on the outside, try to get the advantage, not going to get it done. Reinhard Berger, a strong competitor here at United Racers League. And now, Tony Jukic will jump on board onto with Tony's bumper cam here as he's right behind our good friend Mr. Reinhard Berger. And here you have four drivers going down the front start finish straight. It's very long, lots of opportunity to pass here if you can maximize the draft. And Reinhard trying to look inside. Whoa! Whoa! And it looks like Reinhard got taken down. Oh! And we have some contact down at turn 1 hairpin. Tony Jukic just going to go ahead and jump out front, take P8. Oh, no doubt some serious damage to the front of that Lister Storm. It's going to cost him some precious time here because he is essentially going to lose his front aero. That's going to give the advantage to the likes of someone like Reinhard Berger if he does not have any front end damage, which it does not appear that he does. So Olivier taking a look on the inside. So Olivier clearly with some power into the braking zone, trying to take a look inside Reinhard Berger, but Reinhard closes the door, does not let Olivier get in. There was some contact on the last lap between Tony and Reinhard. Reinhard getting, looks like he got side bumped during the draft. Reinhard going to take a look on the inside. Is he going to get it done? Will he have enough? No. Oh, he gets on the grass. Oh, that's a shame. And now Reinhard has to contend with Olivier. Olivier on the outside. Reinhard Berger taking it way off. Looks like Reinhard now down at P11. Probably trying to get his thoughts back together after having suffered contact on the front start finish straight. So your leader, Mikko Korkiakoski, already establishing a dominant 9-second lead over second place Greg Metcalf. Alex Scott in third. Mikko Klisch right behind Alex in fourth. Steen Mikkel Olsen in fifth. Juan Hubert in sixth. Miguel Santiago Caru down to seventh now. So it looks like Juan did get around Miguel to take that P6 spot. Now Tony Jukic, who is very quick here, is going to look to pull up on Miguel Santiago Caru as well. Olivier Duplessis in P9. Florian Kotz in P10. Having a look down on the inside of Olivier Duplessis. Will he have enough to make the pass? And it looks like, yep, he's going to get it done. So, a great battle forming here. Olivier back down on the inside. Going to make the pass stick. Didn't look like there was contact, but Florian Kotz with a little bit of an off, took it off track, has now allowed Reinhard Berger to get by him. So now Reinhard Berger going to give this another try. Currently running P10, chasing down Olivier. Is going to try and get by Olivier for that P9 spot. Sando Donatel running out there in P12 has got Alex Funnel all over his tail. Great battle going on. Alex with a bit of damage to the back of that Ford GT. Looks like the front is pretty clean. And not too far behind them, P14 Florin Manilok, currently trying his best in that McLaren F1 Longtail, I believe it is. Yep, it is a Longtail model. Not my favorite for sure, but love the style of the car, but not a big fan favorite of the Longtail. He is trying his best to catch up to P13. Oh, as Sando with an off on the last turn, turn 16, allows Alex Funnel to get by him. And running in P15, Kim Damholt. And Anzi Rast in P16. Looking at your race leader, Mikko Korkiakoski. Just a dominating performance tonight. And Mikko doing this all with 50 kilograms of ballast on that C5R. Boy, I just don't know how these boys do it. So, Ps 2, 3, and 4 seem to have gapped themselves just a little bit. Still a great battle ensuing. Ruan now with his sights set on Steen Mikkel Olsen for that P5 spot. Looking to make a top 5 run here tonight for Ruan. Tony Jukic, P8, Olivier, P9, Reinhard in P10. So it looks like right now this might be your closest battle going on, with less than a second separating Olivier Duplessis and Reinhard Berger. So getting back up with the battle that's going on for that P2 spot, it looks like Greg Metcalf has been able to place a little bit of a gap between he and Alex Scott, as Alex Scott has now had to go into the defensive role against Mikhail Klisch. Mikhail Klisch has been steadily just hanging on to the back of Alex Scott, waiting for Alex Scott to give that opportunity. Alex Scott not giving it up so easily, but Mikhail just behind him, waiting to pounce nonetheless. So we'll have to stick with this battle, see what's going to go on here. For the most part, we are currently working lap number 13 out of a scheduled 43 laps. So we've got 30 laps still left to go, folks. And it seems that most of the drivers, most of the guys here tonight have settled into a little bit of a rhythm. I'm predicting we should start seeing some pit rotation start at about the 21-22 lap mark. As Mikhail still holding on to the back of Alex Scott's bumper, but now Alex Scott making a little bit of progress, has placed a gap between himself and Mikhail Klisch and has closed the gap just a tad bit to Greg Metcalf. And we lost someone else. Steen Mikkel Olsen up at P5. Ruan Hubert looking to make the inside move as they go into the braking zone of turn 1. Is Ruan going to be able to hold on to it? Oh, they get side by side, really close. And yes, Ruan will go ahead and take P5. We did drop somebody else, folks. I'm sorry, I do not know who it was. Looks like we may have lost one of the back runners. Yep, and it looks like Doran has dropped from the race. Tough luck, buddy. So here we have, another close battle shaping up between Miguel and Tony Jukic. Miguel with a little bit of a lurch coming out of that corner, overcooking the tires. Tony Jukic going to try and position himself for an over-under, trying to take a look on the outside, then subsequently the inside. Not quite there yet. We'll see if Tony has what it takes to get some pull off of that Ferrari. That Ferrari showing its legs down the straightaway, though. Not gonna get it done this time around. And Olivier back in P9, running a very clean, very speedy race. And Reinhard Berger into the pits. Not sure exactly what happened there. Maybe looking to fix some aero damage. But it's a bit early for pit rotation. Unless there is some Oh, he's taking tires. So could it have been that Reinhard Berger may have taken the wrong tire choice for the start of the race based on the track temperature, which is currently crept up a little bit to 19 degrees. Or is this Reinhardt's strategy? Early pit, long second stint. It's going to be really hard to determine, as he's got some cars now that are coming up on him. Reinhardt now relegated to the last spot as Mikko Korkiakoski now goes by to put Reinhard Berger one lap down. We're going to have to see how this thing shapes out, folks, because if this is the one stop that Reinhardt is looking to make, I'm wondering, just thinking, how is this going to play out in his strategy? for the entire second stint. It just seems like a bit much for that Chevy Corvette to still have enough to go that many laps towards the end, but we'll have to see. And Olivier now into the pits. It's only lap 16, folks. So Olivier Duplessis gets into the pits. Looks like he's going to be taking on some fuel and tires as well. On board with your race leader, Mikko Korkiakoski, driving the number 37 Tresman Corvette C5R. Gives a flick of the lights to the Ferrari F40 to say thank you. And Mikko with a commanding lead, 8 seconds over Greg Metcalf. And well, here we are again. Alex Scott pulling up on Greg Metcalf for that P2 spot. Now, not far behind them is Mikhail Klisch, and that Corvette is Reinhard Berger. Reinhard Berger is 1 lap down from these guys right now. So at the moment, Reinhardt's position in this battle is of none effect because he's not battling for position on the lead lap. He is 1 lap down. But Alex Scott now hanging on to the rear bumper of Greg Metcalf. Greg Metcalf running a brilliant race, but can't help but say that so is Alex Scott, who has held in there since the drop of the green flag. I have to say that the advantage seems to be going to Alex Scott in terms of stability going in and out of the corners. So I'm thinking here, has Greg Metcalf, in trying to run a fast pace, used up a good portion of his tire life? That Chevrolet Corvette notorious for chewing up the rear tires around this type of a track. And if the car is not set up right, it can also chew up those front tires. Having to oversteer, turn the steering wheel. Alex Scott gonna have a look on the inside. Looks like he's gonna get it. Oh, Alex Scott too far into the braking zone. That's gonna cost him a couple positions if Mikhail Klisch cannot get by him here. Nope, and it looks like Mikhail cannot capitalize because Reinhard Berger actually got by Mikhail Klisch, even though he is a lap down. So, well, we're going to have to start this all over again, Alex. So Alex Scott, having had the opportunity, coming down the long front start-finish straight, blows it going into the braking zone. He overcooks it, can't get the car to turn, and has to lock up the brakes. But just as quickly, again, he is right back on the tail of Greg Metcalf. And again, is Greg's tires starting to wear so that his pace is slowing down? And taking a look at some of the times here, I'd have to say that that is the case. He was running 134s cleanly, his last 3 laps being of 135s. Just about 6 laps ago, his fastest lap of the race with a 134.506. As Greg Metcalf comes across the start-finish line now with a 136.215, so we definitely know that Greg Metcalf's pace is slowing down, as is Alex Scott, but Alex Scott with a slight edge over Greg Metcalf. Mikko into the pits. Mikko Korkiakoski, your former race leader, down to P8 right now, into the pits. And we do have some folks that have already pitted. So what is the pit strategy for these guys? Early pit, long second stint? I don't know. Temperatures 19 degrees Celsius out on track, and the ambient holding steady at 12. No rain. It is sunny, and the forecast is for sun. So the forecast that we had previous to the race for rain has all but gone out the window, and Mikko will join the group back out in, not exactly sure he's going to be in P9, because I see that one of the other drivers, Mr. Florin Manilok, is now taking over P9. Miguel Santiago Caru with some heavy damage to the front end of that Ferrari. Same for Tony Jukic. Steen Mikkel Olsen running in P5. Ruan Hubert in P4 now. Mikhail Klisch in P3. Alex Scott in P2. And Greg Metcalf is going to go ahead, and it looks like he might... No, he's going to stay out. He's going to stay out. But what is going on? Because Alex Scott is now making up some serious ground. And Reinhardt is still there in the mix. He's a lap down to P's 1 and 2. If Reinhardt can get around Alex Scott and Greg Metcalf, he would have unlapped himself and placed himself back on the lead lap. Not an easy thing to do when you've got your race leaders out in front of you and they are racing and battling for position. Just letting our fans out on... Oh, Reinhard Berger looping it in the corner. That is going to hurt his chances for sure because he was making such good progress. P12, Reinhard Berger with a bit of a spin, and he's on fresh tires. Florian Kotz, P13. Anze Rast in 14th. Olivier Duplessis, after having gone through his pit, is in 15th. That is your running order. We have 15 cars. We've lost several to attrition we've lost several to attrition, and it looks like Alex Scott gonna bring it into the pits now. Tony Jukic, P5, looks like he's coming into the pits. Hopefully he'll get that damage repaired and can get out there and be fast again. Miguel, P6, also into the pits. Alex Funnel currently running in P7. Let's see what he's going to do. Hopefully he'll be getting into the pits. No, he's going to stay out. Looking to capitalize on the folks that are in the pits and gain some positions here. Not sure if that's going to be to his benefit or to his detriment. Time will tell. Now P8, Florin Manilok is out. He's going to stay out. So Greg Metcalf, your race leader, being followed not too far behind by Mikhail Klisch. And Alex Scott is away, out of the pits now for Alex Scott. Alex Scott with some folks ahead of him that have pitted, such as Mikko, who pitted last lap. And it looks like Greg Metcalf and Mikhail Klisch will now bring it in to the pits. Ruan Hubert, P3, into the pits. Alex Funnel. Looks like he's working his way through. Yep, up into Sector 3 right now. We'll stay on board with Alex for a moment, see what happens here. Will he bring it into the pits? And it looks like Alex is going to head into the pits for some petrol and fresh rubber. Florin Manilok. Will Florin pit? Or has Florin pitted? Florin has not pitted, but his times are slowing down considerably. So Florin Manilok will get to lead with lap out here. Round 8, Fuji Speedway, United Racers League GT-1 Racing. Florin taking it a little bit wide. There was an apex over there to the left somewhere. So perhaps some tire wear. So Florian, your current race leader, looks like he's going to have to pit this lap, but Mikko Korkiakoski right behind them. So Mikko, having made up his time with that early pit stop, now in P2, right on the tail of your current race leader, Florin Manilok. So Florin essentially just taking it wide, saying, listen, I'm not going to try and hold you up. I know who you are. You're the fast dude. So Florin going to bring it into the pits this time around. Greg Metcalf, who has pitted, is going to re-inherit P2, but yep, we hear the all too familiar sound of the Maserati MC12 engine. P3, Alex Scott. So these guys are going to pick up right from where they left off at. Mikhail Klish in P4. Tony Jukic going to take over the P5 spot now that Florin Manilok is in the pits. Miguel Santiago Carru going to inherit P6. So these pit stop rotations essentially put everybody back in order. Now the one who I had some concerns about, Reinhard Berger, currently running in P8, so he picks up right where he left off from. Thought there may have been an advantage to him pitting a little bit earlier, but it looks like things just worked themselves back out. And he did have a spin that did hurt his time some. Steen Mikkel Olsen in P8 and Florian Coates in P9. Olivier Duplessis in P10, having a little bit of trouble getting around turn 1 there for a second. Florin still in the pits, getting some petrol and some rubber. Anzi Rast now bringing it into the pits, and Kim Damholt in P14. Going to see what Kim is going to do here. Looks to be coming around the last corner. Will there be a pit stop for Kim, or has there been a pit stop? Anze Rast in the pits. And it looks like Kim already had pitted. So it looks like the last one. Oh, Ruan Hubert with a DNF. Not exactly sure what happened there. Sorry that we may have missed it, folks. I apologize for that. So your last car in the pits, P14, Anze Rast. It's going to be the last of the pit cyclers. Your race leader, Mikko Korkiakoski, Greg Metcalf in P2. Well, he is just being all kinds of hounded by Alex Scott right now. We have a battle brewing here between Florian Kotz and it looks like Steen Mikkel Olsen. That's right. Florian Kotz all over the tail of Steen. Oh, and Steen with a huge slide. Florian with the opportunity there, but does not capitalize. And again, another slide by Steen Mikkel Olsen. Looks like he's trying too hard coming out of those corners. They do have Reinhard Berger right in front of them. So it would seem that Reinhard may be struggling a little bit here with the setup in his car for the Fuji track. As Florian gonna have a look. Looks to be getting it done. Steen lets him by. This one's not done yet, folks. This one is not done yet, it looks like. Looks like Steen Olsen might have a little bit of a pace advantage, but not a grip advantage as he takes it wide into the 100R turn. Turn 9, 300R going into Dunlop turn 10. And this Dunlop turn is one wicked turn. Back out with your race leader, Mikko Korkiakoski. Mikko with a commanding 10.4 second lead over second place Greg Metcalf, who is still in a heated battle with Alex Scott. So this has been the story of the night, folks. P2, P3, Alex Scott, Greg Metcalf. These guys have been going at it from the word go through the pit rotations, and now in the second stint here, they are still hounding each other. P4 Mikhail Klisch is not too far behind these folks. And boy, I gotta tell you, if any one of these two drivers, either Greg Metcalf or Alex Scott, make a mistake, get caught up with some back markers or lap traffic comes into play, Mikhail may have an opportunity to capitalize and get close to them and join the foray of the battle for P2. So we'll have to see how this one shapes out. Greg Metcalf running a brilliant race, and now actually getting behind the back marker to get some pull to get away from Alex Scott. Looks like it worked. There's a little bit of a gap there now. So smart move by Greg Metcalf, having gotten the draft off of one of the back markers coming down the front start-finish straight. But Alex Scott now pulling right back up within mere thousandths of a second. Separated by about 4/10. Alex Scott taking a little bit more of an aggressive line through that corner. Looks like he may be theorizing and checking where he has an advantage over Greg Metcalf. Oh, and Greg Metcalf with a huge slide. We're going to have to stay with this battle here for a while, folks, because this seems to be the hottest battle going on right now. I know that there's other battles out there, and I'll cover them shortly. We still got some racing to go. But Alex Scott looks like he gets a bit of an advantage here. Not exactly sure what Greg Metcalf is trying to accomplish by swinging to the far inside of the front start finish straight. And then swinging back out again. Do they touch? Do they touch? Looks like we may have had a little door bumping going on there. So this battle raging on hot and heavy between Greg Metcalf, who is in P2, and Alex Scott, P3. And you can see the sparks coming off the bottom of Greg Metcalf's Corvette. These drivers do set the ride height very, very low. Low indeed. A low center of gravity equals great side-to-side transitions, but it can also hurt you in the timing department because it will slow your car down. So it would appear to me that Greg Metcalf swings inside to try and break that draft. Oh, Alex Scott having to lock up the rear right. Gonna give it another go. Reinhard Berger gets around Florian Kotz for that P7 spot. So now Florian is running in P8. Clearly with an advantage down the front start-finish straightaway. It's right up on the bumper of Reinhard Berger. That blind corner, I tell you, that thing scares me. Florian looking on the outside. Oh, almost. It looks like they had a little tap there, and Reinhard Berger gets a little sideways, he starts to spin those tires coming off the corner. So clearly the advantage to Florian driving the heavier Ford GT car. So Reinhard able to pull out a little bit of a gap to Florian, but Florian's got some other issues going on behind him now. Steen Mikkel Olsen, having gained some ground on this ensuing battle before him, is now perhaps within striking distance of Florian Kotz. And it looks like Steen is going to start looking for ways around Florian. So on the chase cam with Steen Olsen, He's got Florian and Reinhardt right ahead of his car. What is he going to be able? What is he going to try and do to capitalize here? Looks like he's trying to hang on to the bumper of Florian's GT-1. Getting onto that front straightaway is where it counts. Both the Ford GT-1 and the Corvette with great legs down this long straightaway. Have a look on the inside. Oh no, Steen pulls out of the braking zone early. Reinhardt with his mirror full of Florian's GT1, Ford GT1. Miguel having a quiet race out there tonight, running in P6 for the most part. Hasn't changed much in positions, just been quietly holding his pace, making his way around Fuji, and looking to score some all-important points. But the man on the move, Tony Jukic, looks like he did not get that damage repaired when he went into the pits, just decided to forego it. Word of advice to you guys, when you go in for a tire change, that is when your damage gets fixed, so you're not adding to the pit time, just to let you guys know. Something to keep in the back of your minds when you're looking to get some damage fixed during the pit. So Tony Jukic in P5, Mikko Klisch in P4, Alex Scott P3, and Greg Metcalf P2. Your race leader, Mikko Korkiakoski, he's out there by himself, folks, and he's not going to let go of that lead. But here you have Alex Scott trying all ways to Sunday to get around Greg Metcalf. Which is not an easy task to do, because Greg Metcalf, boy, I gotta tell you, he has been driving the race line this entire race. Currently working on lap 33, so we've got 10 laps to go. And boy, I gotta tell you that the track temperature is held steady, 19 degrees Celsius, ambient of 12. However, the conditions and forecast have changed. Looks like the conditions are light rain, although we do not see the raindrops yet, and the forecast is for rain. Oh, here we go. Alex Scott looking on the outside, not going to quite get it done. Advantage Greg Metcalf on this one. But with about 9 laps left to go, Alex Scott knows that it is now or never, do or die time. And it looks like he may have been reserving and preserving his tires for such a time as this. He takes the inside line but overcooks it, and this has been the story all night, folks. Alex Scott, with tremendous power going into the braking zone, just does not have the stoppers on that Maserati MC12 to keep Greg Metcalf at bay. Alex Scott looking for the advantage, keeping Greg Metcalf. They are coming up on some lap traffic. How is this going to play out? Looks like Anze Ross. Yep, Anze Ross is just going to pull over and let them by. Good on you, Anze. Way to go. Alex Scott not letting this one go. Let's jump on board. Bonnet cam. Boy, that Corvette's got some great legs down this straight. Not gonna quite get it done. Boy, oh boy. What a battle between Alex Scott and Greg Metcalf. Greg Metcalf is simply driving the fast line. Alex Scott has got to be all sorts of frustrated right now for having given it about a half a dozen tries throughout this race and not being able to make a pass stick. It is times like this that can lead a driver to overdrive their car just a little bit. We don't want to see that happen here to Alex Scott. So Alex Scott, I am telepathically sending you the message. You got to take it easy. He's going to take a look. He's got the advantage on the inside. Greg Metcalf conceding the spot this time around. Wow, we did not see that one coming, in that Greg Metcalf would just concede the spot. But this one is not over, folks, because Greg Metcalf still on the bumper of Alex Scott. Boy, within the next couple of laps, if Alex Scott can pull out a gap, then this one is over, folks. We're going to go back to the timing and scoring board, see if there's any other battles that we can pick out here that are going on. Looks like Florian Kotz and Reinhard Berger now are the battle to be looking at for P7 right now. And Reinhard, another driver who cleanly runs the race line. Not easy to get around in any manner. So Florian Kotz certainly with his work cut out for him. Not going to expect Reinhard Berger to just roll over and die and concede any positions. Steen Olsen not too far behind, but not within striking distance yet. So the Ford GT going to take it to the outside. Advantage goes to Berger as he hugs that corner tight. Over under, not going to work on this one for Florian. I'm going to do a quick rundown of the field right now. We are working lap 35 with a scheduled 43-lap race. Mikko Korkiakoski on the front start finish straight running in first. Alex Scott in P2. Greg Metcalf not too far behind, but it seems that there's a little bit of a gap that is growing there in P3. Mikhail Klisch P4. Tony Jukic P5. Miguel Carew P6. Reinhard Berger P7. Florian Kotz, closest battle out on the field right now in P8. Steen Olsen, P9. Olivier Duplessis in P10. Alex Funnel in P11. Kim Damholt, P12. Florian Manilok in P13. And Anze Hrast in P15. So, getting back on board with Florian, we'll take this full screen. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that Florian's partner is Mike Greatrix. Mike Greatrix not able to make the race tonight because he was out and about. Real world stuff took precedence over the racing tonight. But Mike, if you are watching, or if you get to watch this broadcast later on, the rebroadcast, we certainly miss you out on the track, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks out here battling it out with the rest of these folks. So Florian right behind Mr. Reinhard Berger. Not able to do too much in terms of trying to pass Reinhard right now. Reinhard's just driving a very defensive line around Fuji. Oh, and it looks like Alex Scott now being able to get away from Mr. Greg Metcalf. So what was the closest battle on the field still is the closest battle, but looks like Reinhard is able to establish a little bit of a gap between himself and Florian. P7, Reinhard Berger, driving a Corvette C6R. American Muscle. Miguel still running up in P6. Tony Jukic in P5. Mikko Klisch P4. Greg Metcalf in P3 and Alex Scott in P2. Oh boy, I tell you, Alex Scott did establish that gap, but it looks like Greg Metcalf may have found something left in that Chevy Corvette, because he seems to have closed the gap just a wee bit to Alex Scott. So Greg Metcalf trying his best to get back that position that he lost, but looks like Alex Scott's got the advantage right now in that pace and the hooked up car. Mikko Klisch quite a ways back, not within striking distance, folks. We don't have much time here left to go. Leaders are currently working on lap 38, so we've got about 5 laps here left to go. And again, closest battle on the field right now is between Florian and Reinhard Berger. Florian gonna try it on the outside. He's gonna try the old over-under. Will it work? Oh, and they have Anze Rast right ahead. Anze Rast gonna pull over, let them by without impeding their times at all, it looks like. But boy, oh boy, late race push, late race challenge by Florian. And Florian has a little bit of a disadvantage going through that last sweeper that they were just going through. Florian getting early on the throttle, spins the tires a little bit. But he is all over Reinhardt's tail. He's gonna, oh, he's got a little bit of a spin, looking to get some of that draft off of Reinhardt's car. Not gonna be able to get it done here this time around. Unless he's going to try a dive bomb, which would probably put him at a huge disadvantage. And there goes Reinhardt on the race line underneath him and says, thank you very much. So Florian trying the dive bomb did not work. Did not have enough juice in those brakes to stop it in time without losing control. Clearly, Florian's got some great pace, it looks, over the Corvette of Reinhard Berger. However, Reinhard just driving a clean defensive line, and he's essentially taking the fast line away from Florian Kotz. And again, as was the case with Alex Scott not too many laps ago, this has got to be all sorts of frustrating when you know you got the pace, but you can't get the fast line. And Fuji is certainly a track layout where you need that fast line to put a good pass on your competitor. So Florian gonna keep at it. Probably thinking he's got another opportunity for a dive bomb here. Let's see what happens. Oh, he goes deep into the braking zone. He's going to blow this one. Blew right by it. Deep and too deep into the braking zone. Florian having lost great opportunity to get past Reinhardt. Reinhardt again taking away the fast line. Florian just going way too far into the braking zone. Not enough muscle on those stoppers to get it stopped in time. So, P2 Alex Scott, your leader Mikko Korkiakoski still out front. Alex Scott with P2 with a comfortable gap back to P3 Greg Metcalf. Mikhail Klishin P4, Tony Jukic still running P5. Lots of damage to the front and sides of that Lister Storm. Miguel Carew P6, Reinhard Berger in P7 in a heated battle with Florian Kotz. Florian falling a little bit back now and allows a back marker to get in between him and Reinhard. Steen Mikkel Olsen now just quietly creeping up on the tail of Florian Kotz. Olivier Duplessis in P10 and Alex Funnel P11, Kim Damhole 12, and Florian Manilok in 13, Anzi Rost in 14. So now Reinhard Berger, I guess he decided he's had enough of this, is not going to play any games. He's just going to start to check out now, driving the number 63 CompuWare Chevy Corvette C6R around Fuji. As we are closing down this race, folks, we are on lap 42 right now. Mikko, your race leader, we're going to jump on board with him, as it looks like he is coming around turn 1 for the last time during this race. And Mikko for sure has put on a driving clinic here at Fuji tonight. Uncontested, unchallenged from lap 1. Unbelievable performance by Mikko Korkiakoski. Just goes to show, folks, that consistency does pay off. I mean, being fast pays off just as well, but consistency probably holds a bigger advantage around these GTR2 racing leagues. So Mikko Korkiakoski coming around Sector 3. Some of the off-camber turns right now, perhaps for the last time. And boy, I tell you, it couldn't have been any time better, because look at those skies starting to cloud up. So this race would have certainly gone into the rain had we another 15-20 minutes of racing left to do. And that is it. Your race winner, Mikko Korkiakoski, taking the race win here at Fuji. Fantastic run. Alex Scott, P2. Greg Metcalf will cross the line in 3rd. Mikhail Klish now coming down the front straight to take the 4th spot. Tony Jukic will finish out the race in P5. Reinhard Berger still threading his way through Sector 3. Onto the front, start, finish straight. And we'll come home in P6. P7, Florian Kotz. Steen Mikkel Olsen in P8, Olivier Duplessis, P9, Alex Funnel, P10, Miguel Santiago Carew, P11. Kim Damholt in P12. Florin Manilock, 13th. And Ansi Ras blowing his engine. We'll finish this out 15th, and Ruan Joubert with a DNF in P15. And that is going to be all, folks. So from Fuji Raceway, we want to thank those that did join us tonight. Thank you for watching the race broadcast. We're going to try and be doing this every 2 weeks, just to let you know. I do race the GT3 League, so if there's anybody out there that might be racing GT3 and interested in doing the broadcast for the GT3, that'd be fine. But I will be doing some GT1 broadcasts, and certainly welcome anyone who may be willing to jump into the broadcast booth with me. So for the URL GT1 series, I am Ken Rodriguez, wishing you all a good night. Thank you very much for watching.